Hello, and a great Friday evening here, Thursday evening for you here. My apologies, Thursday evening here on TitleTown Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick LeBlanc. A lot to get to here tonight. Red Sox made another trade yesterday. Andrew Benintendi to the Kansas City Royals. And let me be frank, I am not too happy with the return. Bruins are back in action. After a short layoff, the Celtics are finally back home after what felt like a pretty disappointing West Coast swing. And to top it all off, NFL, football, Brady and the Bucks having their championship parade. What do the Patriots need to do this offseason? But before we get into that, Andrew Benintendi, he has been traded to the Kansas City Royals, and I'll be frank with you. I'm not. You can make the argument saying that, while the Benintendi trade was too little, too late, I guess. And sure, you can make that argument. Sure, you could have thrown Benintendi in there with the in the Chris Sale deal instead of sending off Moncada, but then we probably wouldn't have Rafael Devers, and Devers, his bat has really come alive. His fielding, I'll say that is still suspect at best, but that's all right, though. But when it comes to Benintendi, listen, he just never really developed into the player that I think we all had hoped. He never really developed into that player that we all truly hoped that he would. Now, Andrew Benintendi, he was an outstanding defensive player for the Red Sox, but when it came to his hitting, though, I don't know, man. It wasn't a terrible hitter, but he wasn't consistent enough. He was not consistent enough. So that is where I kind of draw the line there with the Red Sox, is that yes, Andrew Benintendi was a reliable and key piece to that 2018 championship run. Of course, like, who wasn't key in that championship run? Everybody on that roster was key, from the manager to the 25th guy on that roster. The manager's now back, but Cora now doesn't get a chance to help Benintendi redevelop his skills. I mean, look, is Alex Cora getting a reasonable roster here? No, Ron Renneke, he was given a crapshoot of a roster last year anyway, after you traded Mookie Betts away. So, Renneke was already coming into a bad situation. He was just making it worse. Alex Cora, he's making a bad situation look a little bit better, but still in a very rotten situation. But, I don't think the Red Sox are going to use him as a scapegoat. I think the Red Sox brought up Alex Cora back specifically just to win the locker room, get the clubhouse back in order, and just get this team to compete. All right? Isn't that really the goal at the end of the day, is just to get this team to compete? So, look, does this open the door for Jackie Bradley Jr. to return? I hope so. Now, look, do I think Jackie Bradley Jr. hit the back end of a barn? No, not really. But just having defensively and just like as a leader in that clubhouse, why not? I give him a 1-year deal worth like maybe, I don't know, just give him like $10 million, call it a day, and just look. An outfield of Hunter Renfroe, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Alex Verdugo sounds a whole lot better than Hunter Renfroe, Franchi Cordero, who the Red Sox got from Benintendi, and Verdugo. Now look, this Cordero guy. This guy hasn't really taken many major league at bats, and when he has, hitting like under 210. But he's supposed to be this power hitting guy. Has like a grand total of 6 home runs and like 20 something RBIs. That's it. So am I really confident in this Red Sox outfield? No, not at all. Because look, Verdugo doesn't really know how to play left field all that great. Center field's not any better because you got the triangle. In left field, you got the gigantic, monstrous wall. The only person in that outfield who I really give a chance to is Renfroe because he played at Fenway roughly his entire career nine times a season when the Rays came up. So, look, am I 100% on board with the Benintendi trade? Yeah, Benintendi just had to go. I felt, though, that the Red Sox should have gotten a little bit more for Benintendi than what they actually did. Do I still think they should have probably put him in the Chris Sale trade category? Probably. Yeah, it would have looked a little bit better, but we'd probably be without Rafael Devers, but we'd have Yohan Moncada here. So, I don't know. It's kind of one of those up and down, you win some, you lose some type of scenarios. I have no idea. But Franchi Cordero, though, played for the Padres, he's played for the Royals. Now, we don't know much about this guy. In 2020, he hit .211 with 2 homers and 7 RBIs. In his entire major league career, now I was way off with his numbers, but either way, he only has a 284 career at-bats. A 236 average, 12 homers, 36 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. Look, there's just a lot of unknowns with this guy. There's a lot of unknowns with this guy. In 2017, came up with the Padres. 3 homers, 9 RBIs. 2018 with the Padres, 40 games, just shy of 140 at bats, 7 homers, 19 RBIs. So this guy's been more of a bench guy, minor league guy. It's I don't know. I mean, obviously, if the Red Sox do not bring back Jackie Bradley Jr., he's finally going to see significant playing time. So maybe this could be a blessing in disguise for Franchi Cordero. For me, I just think it's a disaster waiting to happen. So they only got 38 at-bats last season in 16 games. Yeah, he has a good combination of speed and power, but I get it. Jackie Bradley Jr., he is a streaky hitter, which, again, is not that far off. Jackie Bradley Jr., he's a great defensive asset. That's why I really feel the Red Sox need to keep Jackie Bradley Jr. As much as it aggravates me as a fan watching him just swing at balls in the dirt or balls that are like 50 feet over his head, the amount of aggravation he gives, I don't know, man. It's just, for Jackie Bradley Jr., I hate him when he's at the plate because you expect him to strike out 9 times out of 10, but that 10th bat, he can either hit a bullet or hit it over the wall, and so on and so forth. But his defense, oh my God, his defense is just so awesome and great. You would hate to lose that. You would hate to lose Jackie Bradley Jr. in the outfield. He's still available. He hasn't gone anywhere. I don't think many teams are interested in him. And what's probably stopping these teams? His bat. His bat isn't developed, and it probably will never get developed. Am I saying for Bloom to at least keep one part of the Red Sox outfield intact? Yeah. Bring back Jackie Bradley Jr. Yeah, he's a streaky hitter. His defense is outstanding, but there's one other thing, though. How often does Jackie Bradley Jr. miss a game? And if he does miss a game, it's simply just to give him a day off. He is so durable. It is not fun. And that's what you want from any type of player in any sport. Durability. And I will take Jackie Bradley Jr.'s durability any day of the week. I'll take his defense any day of the week. The bat, His bat's hit or miss for me. I mean, he's a hit or miss hitter, realistically. Let's be honest with that. MVP of the ALCS, but y'all forgot that all 3 or 4 of his hits were home runs. Yeah, he gave you the production when you needed it. But what did he do other than that? He either struck out, grounded the ball out, or he flew out. One of the 2 or 3. His 3 hits were all home runs. He didn't do much in the World Series, but then again, not many guys did do much in the World Series until like late in the games and games 4 and 5. Realistically. And to be quite honest, the Red Sox offense didn't really have to do much that World Series against the Dodgers either. Because the pitching was just the pitching was exceptional. The one series which you want your pitchers to look good, and they actually looked really, really good. The bullpen looked fantastic. And Nathan Eovaldi, he's not going to be known as, a World Series champion, Cy Young Award. He's going to be known for one of 2 things. A, it's consistent health issues. And B, him literally pitching his butt off in Game 3 of the World Series in 18 innings, where he pitched from like the 12th inning all the way through the 18th inning, throwing 94 pitches. Ended up getting the loss, but it was a gutsy and ballsy effort from him, though. No doubt about that. But when it comes to Andrew Benintendi, though, his career is going to be marked off of 2 catches here in Boston. The catch against Alex Bregman in the 2018 ALCS, and that catch in which he looked like Michael Jordan jumping at the wall in the World Series in Game 1 against the Dodgers. That's it. He didn't really make any outstanding offensive plays. He didn't really come up with a lot of big hits that we all hoped that he would. He just didn't really have it, per se. But anyway, though, we're going to take a small break. Coming up next, the Bruins are still looking good after a bit of a mini layoff. And what's going on with the Celtics? They're not looking good. All right. TitleTown Throwdown will be right back here after a short message. TitleTown Throwdown on all Sports Fanbase Network Rhode Island platforms. And welcome back to TitleTown Throwdown. I am your host, Nick LeBlanc. Let's get to those Bruins here, shall we? All right, so the Bruins lost out on a couple of home games. Thank you, Buffalo. Naturally, it's a team from New York, and it's basically one of the bottom feeders in the National Hockey League, the Buffalo Sabres. I would say the Bills were a bottom feeder in the NFL, but the Bills are actually good now, and they're probably going to win the AFC East for a while, but that's besides the point. But thank you, Buffalo Sabres, for costing the Bruins 2 home games. And now the Bruins are back out on the road in New York. Oh, and lo and behold, another game of theirs got postponed against the Devils that was supposed to come up on Monday. So, look, the Bruins today have played only 4 home games. And those games were all wins against the Flyers and the Penguins. That's it. All their other games, 2 in New Jersey, 1 on Long Island, 2 in Washington, 2 in Philly, 1 in New York. They play the Rangers again in New York on Friday. Then they play the Islanders on Saturday before. Right now, they get to return home, won't play on Monday, hoping to play Thursday the 18th. Oh, yeah, then they have to go out to Lake Tahoe to play the Flyers, and that might even be in jeopardy, too, at least from the Flyers standpoint, because of all the COVID issues. All the COVID issues. And here's what's ironic. Is teams that were not in the bubble last year, it be the Devils, or really just teams that were in the bubble were only there for 10 to 20 days. They're the teams that are having the issues. Surprisingly, the Flyers had an issue. They were in the bubble for a full month. The Bruins, they were in the bubble for a month, but you didn't see them have any issues. New Jersey's not surprising that they're having issues. They weren't in the bubble, so they weren't really used to the sequestering. Same with the Sabres. So, yeah, you didn't say, oh, they're not used to the sequestering and everything, but still, though, but that's not an excuse. When you were costing a team a home game of all sorts, when they've already played out on the road so many times already, believe it or not, the Bruins, they're not going to show it. Deep inside, though, they're mad. They're angry. It's like all these teams have to have their home. Every team in the league has played at least 5 or 6 home games. The Bruins haven't even played number 5 yet. They're hoping to play number 5 next Thursday against the Devils. Even that could be in jeopardy because who knows when the Devils will be able to restart. The Flyers, their game against Washington yesterday got postponed. Can the Flyers figure it out? Because if not, the Flyers might have to drop out of Lake Tahoe, and a team like the New York Rangers might step up, or maybe the Washington Capitals. Hell, if the Sabres are ready to go, let the Bruins play the Sabres. It's supposed to be a quote-unquote home game for the Bruins, when realistically it's just going to be like another road game for the Bruins. Anyway, though, the Bruins are in New York last night. They played the New York Rangers. And look, did the Bruins look slow? Well, yeah, they had a 4-day layoff, which in a shortened 56-game season where you got to fit in so many games in a small amount of time frame, it feels like a week and a half off for the Bruins, Even for a team like New Jersey who hasn't played since February 3rd, they've been out for 10 days. It feels like 10 weeks. That's how bad it is in the NHL. That's how much crunch time they have. Because for the NHL, you want to get done before the Summer Olympics. You want to start your next season in maybe November, just so we can still have an 82-game season, spread out your games a little bit better. I don't know. If you're the NHL, you're kind of port in this situation. You really are. I mean, it's beneficial to you. You got done in September. You didn't have to bleed into October. Your playoffs lasted approximately 2 months. Great job. And then you gave these guys, 3.5 months off. And now you want them to play 3.5 months consistently hardcore. So they go into another 2-month playoffs, which hopefully by the time playoff hockey comes, arenas around the league are at least letting in 50% capacity fans. So you can go to games and cheer on your team before October, November of this year. We can finally go back into the arenas full capacity. That's the hope anyway. But Bruins look slow against the Rangers, but they picked up the tempo as the game went on. There were some times which they looked low. To the rest, though, oh my God, what was that brain fart last night? I'm listening to the radio version of it. I'm at work. And I hear Judge Rod say a delay penalty coming up on the Rangers. I'm watching it on the TV. I don't see an arm up. I don't see, delay penalty popping up on the graphic. What happened? Oh, Tuukka had a brain fart. He says, I honestly thought we were losing 2-1. Dude, you guys had a 2-1 lead. The Rangers tied it 2-2. And then Rod says, oh, we're in the entertainment industry, so I hope people don't laugh. Yeah, people are laughing about it right now because you won the game in overtime. No one would be laughing if the Rangers picked up on it, the puck went in the back of the net, you're not there because of your brain fart of a moment, causes the Bruins to lose the game in regulation, your second regulation loss of the season, and costs you 2 points. Or realistically, a point. Listen, Took. Look, do brain farts happen? Sure, they do. They happen all the time. But there's a gigantic scoreboard. All you have to do is do this. You look up. You see there's 2-2. If you think, oh, I think we're losing, I'm not sure. Oh. Look, Tuca didn't mentally look right in the bubble. He didn't really want to be there. This series more focused. He understands what the situation. He has to get over it. But to have a brain fart like that and have your team yelling you, get back in the net, dude. If you were not in the net and the Rangers picked up on it, you would have had to throw your stick just to make sure the puck didn't even cross the goal line. Then you would have had to dive yourself just to try to prevent it from going in. Probably still would have. But imagine, though, the Bruins were this close to probably losing that game last night because of Tuukka's boneheaded decision. Game goes overtime and he stays back to the bench smiling. It's like, yeah, you should be smiling because the team had possession and they bailed your butt out, you moron. But Bruins ended up winning that game, and that's why I would now like to bring in the TitleTown play of the week. This came from last night's Bruins game. It was a game-time goal, Bruins on the penalty kill, but the penalty kills turned into more of a blessing in disguise for the Bruins, though, lately. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Chris Wagner's game-tying goal as part of this week's TitleTown play of the week.
Here's Trouba. Panarin had it knocked away by Wagner. Bruins shorthanded. Wagner moving in. He scores a shorthanded goal as Chris Wagner beats Alexander Georgiev. Bruins have tied the game at 1.
Puck, and Wagner's going to take the puck away from him, win a foot race against Panarin, and the man out of Colgate University, Chris Wagner, is going to make this game 1-1. What a goal by Wagner. Not a great play by Panarin, but the awareness by Wagner to score shorthanded off the post and in. Real good for the grinding guys of the Boston Bruins.
And that's what helped get the Bruins scoring started last night. And the Bruins, as I said, ended up winning the game 3-2 despite Tuukka's blunder. I can imagine in the next game when Tuukka starts, whether that be Friday night or Saturday night, you can imagine his teammates, if they score to either take the lead or tie the game, they're going to skate over to him saying, hey, Tuukka, we're tied 1-1. Hey, Tuukka, we're winning 2-1. To not only be sarcastic and just get a rise out of him, but also to make sure he doesn't pull that same stupid moron stunt again. If he does that again, and a smarter team's able to pick it up, like, say, the Islanders, the Flyers, the Capitals. I mean, if this was a normal season, he did that against, say, the Lightning. Oh, you bet your biscuits those guys are going to see it, steal the puck, shoot it, and it goes in the net for a goal. You bet your biscuits that would happen. And I bet it too. Absolutely do. If this were a normal NHL season, teams like the Flyers, Penguins, Capitals, Lightning, maybe even the Maple Leafs, the Canadiens. Let's get some Western Conference teams in here. Vegas, Arizona, Dallas, just about every other team that has a reasonably good roster would bang that puck in and catch that Tuukka had a brain fart. You better believe that would happen. So, right then and there, it's I can't even explain how that happens to even Tuukka. I really can't explain that. All right, transitioning to the NBA, the Celtics. A couple NBA headlines. You saw us running along the bottom of the screen. The Toronto Raptors, they are going to play the remainder of their home games of the season in Tampa Bay, Florida, due to the border still being closed. The Raptors do hope that they can return to the I don't even know what it's called now. The Scotiabank Center in Toronto. I think that's what it's called now. Home of the Maple Leafs and the Raptors. Either way, they're hoping that they can return to action in Toronto for the 2021-2022 season. I hope they do. I really hope that come August, September, even October, when the NBA and the NHL probably come back again themselves, everything's relatively back to normal. That is my personal hope, that we can see a full 82-game season in the NHL, full 82-game season in the NBA. I mean, they're playing 72 games, still roughly a full season for the NBA. And that's fine. We had a full football season, thankfully. Major League Baseball, they're going to play a full 162 games. I don't agree with that, but that's whatever. The players are just big old babies in the NHL and the MLB. My apologies. No. Players in Major League Baseball are big babies. All right, I'm pointing that out right now. Okay, I have no sympathy for the MLB players. Okay, I don't care. Baseball is the one sport which I side with the owners on. That's the one sport. The NFL, maybe. NHL, NBA. I don't know. Anyway, Celtics are back from a West Coast trip, and yeah, they went 2-3 on it. But if you think about it, it's kind of disappointing. If you really think about it, I mean, you played a couple of easy teams like the Warriors, the Sacramento Kings in there, the Suns. You blow a lead against the Suns. The Jazz, you broke down in the fourth quarter. It really just wasn't a good road trip for the Celtics to think about it. Yeah, they beat Golden State by 4. You lost the Kings by 5, but again, you had a meltdown fourth quarter. Clippers, you had to come back and win that game. Suns, you lost by 9. Again, another late game breakdown. And the Jazz, another breakdown late in the game. And you lose 122-108. Look, the Celtics have only played 23 games out of 72. They've only played 23 games out of 72. 12-11. They're in the thick of things. Right now, the Celtics sit at the number 4 seed in the NBA Eastern Conference, only behind the Brooklyn Nets, Milwaukee Bucks, and the Philadelphia 76ers, who I still think will A, come back down to earth, and B, be first-round exits like they always are. But then you see the teams behind them, and really, this is how sad and pathetic the NBA Eastern Conference really is. Raptors, 12-13. Pacers, 12-13. Hornets, 12-14. Hawks, 11-13. The teams that aren't in the playoffs right now, if the season ran today early. Knicks, 11-15. Bulls, 10-14. Heat, 10-14. Cavs, 10-6. Magic, 9-16. Wizards, 6-16. Pistons, 6-18. Like, the NBA Eastern Conference is so bad. At a 12-11 record for the Celtics, it's no sweat, because the rest of your conference just absolutely blows. But you still need that wins in the Western Conference, because you got teams in the West that are like this. The Jazz, 20-5. The Lakers, 20-6. Clippers, 18-8. The Suns, 15-9. The Blazers, 13-10. Spurs, 14-11. The Nuggets, 13-11. The Warriors, 13-12. Grizzlies, 10-10. Sacramento Kings, 12-12. And then it gets worse from there. But so, yeah, you need to win against your own conference and your own division. But when you play the teams out west, yeah, they're tough teams, tough opponents. Still got to try to win. You can't be having fourth quarter breakdowns consistently. It's not good. It's not a recipe for success. It's not. All right. And that's one thing that's probably going to really hurt the Celtics team. Consistently not playing well. you consistently play well throughout a 48-minute game, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You can't play well for 3 quarters, fourth quarter, take your gas off the pedal a bit, and then you lose. That's not how the NBA works. You even take your foot off the gas for a second, in a blink of an eye, you're down 5. You'll be up 15, then down 5. It's the NBA. All right? In the NBA, regular season, there's some parity. NBA playoffs, there is no parity. You already know who's going to win the damn thing when the playoffs begin. You already know who's going to win the damn thing. The NBA Eastern Conference, give or take. In the NBA Western Conference, I'll forget it. You already know who's a postseason team and who's not a postseason team. You already know that from the get-go. Eastern Conference, you know who's going to advance out of the first round. Second round, kind of know. The conference finals is always a toss-up. Anyway, though, but Celtics are playing the Raptors tonight at the TD Garden. Tip-off should be happening in a couple minutes. But key game, though. Raptors, they're trying to get to 500. You can fall down to 500. You went 2-3 in the West Coast trip. All right, so you're 2-3 in your last 5. And in your last 10, combined, you're literally only you're 5-5. You're a 500 team right now. And frankly, you're playing like a 500 team. So look, the first part of the Celtics, quote unquote, first half schedule is already coming to an end. It comes to an end March 4th. Then you have the All-Star game itself. And then what are you going to do for the last 32 games? So this quote-unquote first half of the season for the Celtics is already quickly coming to an end. What are you going to do in the last 30-some-odd games? You got to win them. Now, look, do I think the Celtics are in danger of missing the playoffs? No, not at all. I don't think they're in danger. Could they be in danger of finishing the season not where they want to be? Yeah. I mean, again, you're behind the Nets, who have a big 3 in Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, and they've had their struggles. So if you're able to beat them, you're able to figure it out against the Sixers. If you're finished with either the 3rd or 2nd seed, maybe even the 1st if you get lucky, but you got to start playing better. So, really, polar opposites. So, here's what we learned so far here through the first 3 quarters of the show. Red Sox still inept, but making some decent moves to just try to be quasi-competitive. Bruins still doing pretty good. The Celtics are literally a 500 team. That's what we've learned. That's what I've learned. So anyway, when we come back, NFL talk. The NFL season's over. Brady and the Bucs, they are the champs. What does the offseason have in store for the New England Patriots? What do the Patriots have in store? So, don't go anywhere. Sit tight. You are watching TitleTown Throwdown on the Sports Fanbase Network of Rhode Island and all of our platforms. Snap Down Wrestling with Coach Tommy Lynch. You can catch that every Monday night at 9 p.m. But NFL, a lot of news this week, a lot of trade rumors already coming out. So let's get into it. First, I just want to say the NFL Hall of Fame class has been released and is headlined by Peyton Manning. It is headlined by Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, and Calvin Johnson. Trying to pop up the full list for you right now. So give me a minute, but look. Was it really any surprise that Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson didn't get in there their first tries? Not really. Calvin Johnson, I believe this is his first attempt in the Hall of Fame battle, unless it's been on for a couple of years now. Either way. Calvin Johnson, he didn't play long enough, but then he was a wise guy because, look, he played for Detroit. He played for the Lions, and they're notorious for letting guys' careers go to waste. Poor Jared Goff, his career's not going to go to waste. He's never going to see the playoffs again. He already wasted Matthew Stafford's career. He could try to revive it a little bit in L.A., at least get to the playoffs consistently. That's about it. I don't think he's ever going to see a Super Bowl. So it's really sad. Trying to pop up the full Hall of Fame class right now. But look, does Peyton Manning deserve to be in there? Yes. Charles Woodson? Absolutely. Calvin Johnson? Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. So, look, Peyton Manning, he set records that have probably been broken already or have been broken. He was the first quarterback in NFL history to lead two different franchises to the Super Bowl and win it. He led the Colts there twice, winning once. He led the Broncos there twice, winning once. And both Super Bowls with the Broncos. Once the snap went over his head, it was already over. And then his defense carried him to the second one because literally he had nothing left in him. He had nothing left in him. So here is the full Hall of Fame class. Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Drew Pearson, Alan Finetta, pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, Bill Nunn, John Lynch, and Tom Flores. So that is your Hall of Fame inductee class for 2021. They're going to be enshrined at the same time with the class of 2020 because the class of 2020, they never got a chance to be enshrined because of COVID. That's how much COVID has ruined things. Hopefully in August, all these guys can be recognized the way they should. In front of their families and friends in Canton, Ohio, outside the Hall of Fame. The plaques right there. All these guys get to be trying. And for Peyton Manning, apparently it took no more than 13 seconds for him to be put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, why would it? Peyton Manning. I mean, look at the career he had up until the injuries. Now, the neck injury in 2011 in which forced him to miss the season, I think that was more towards the beginning of the end for Peyton, but he came back for 3 straight years, put up great numbers. Neck injury bothered him again, missed half of the 2015 season, came back, played decent at best. And then, and I stand by this, his defense carried him to that championship. I swear. All right, and you cannot change my mind about it. I don't care who you are out there, Peyton Manning fan, or just a general NFL fan. People think Tom Brady got lucky with Super Bowls. Peyton Manning got lucky in Super Bowl 50 because his defense was just so damn good. Conspiracy? I think not. Anyway. So, we've all seen the videos and pictures of Brady looking absolutely hammered at the Bucs Super Bowl parade, throwing the Lombardi trophy to Gronk's boat First off, why the hell do you trust Gronk with the Lombardi Trophy? You know what he did last time. Used it as a baseball bat and dented it because Edelman threw a baseball at it. Gronk's like, oh, I'm going to be funny. I'm going to use the Lombardi Trophy as a baseball bat. I'm going to bunt it. Oh, I dented it. Moron. But the fact that Tom Brady threw the Lombardi Trophy to the next boat. It's like, Tom, what are you doing here, bro? What are you doing? Too much time. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, oh my Lord. Brady, if you haven't seen the videos or the pictures of Tom Brady yet, I suggest you look at them. They are absolutely hysterical. He needed help walking. He needed help walking because he was just so plastered. Oh my Lord. But you know what? Brady and the Buccaneers, they deserve to have all the fun they want. Enjoy it. But how is the Patriots offseason going to shake up now, though? How's it going to shake up? Well, there's already a lot of trade rumors out there. Deshaun Watson wants to trade, even though the Texans said that they still have no interest in wanting to trade Watson. They want to keep him in Texas or in Houston. I'm pretty sure Deshaun Watson's going to win that battle. He really is. Okay, I'm being dead honest with you. Watson's going to eventually get his way. Unless you stack up the team, beef up his offensive line, actually give him more than, Will Fuller, who's going to miss the first 2-3 games of next season because of a positive PED test. So you got to give him some weapons. Beef up his offensive line. All right, then maybe you can convince him to stay. But the guy hasn't even talked to the team president, the new GM, Nick Caserio, nor is he really speaking to the new head coach. So he just wants nothing to do with Houston. And frankly, I don't really blame him. Because look what Bill O'Brien did. He traded DeAndre Hopkins for literally a bag of Skittles. That's pretty much what Kenyon Drake's worth, is a bag of flipping Skittles. But anyway, though, that is besides the point. But now listen, Patriot fans, I'm going to make this perfectly clear again. And I'm going to make this clear again after I say this. Teams have engaged the Seahawks about potentially acquiring Russell Wilson. Do that as you like. It's just conversations, nothing's generating anywhere, but teams have talked to Seattle about what it would take to get Russell Wilson. Now, I'm going to make this perfectly clear for Patriot fans. Do not expect Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson to be in a New England Patriots uniform. Do not expect it. Let it go by the wayside right now. Because A, why the hell would Nick Caserio trade Deshaun Watson, a top 5 quarterback, to you when he wanted to get out of here a year earlier, but you blocked him from going? So that's out. 2, why would Seattle trade Russell Wilson to you? Pete Carroll owes you nothing. He already won you the Super Bowl because of his boneheaded play. But so many teams in the NFL want to see you just crumble after 20 years of success. They're not going to help you out and bail you out for a top 5 guy. And realistically, what are the chances that general manager Bill Belichick is going to go out, throw 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and Stephon Gilmore at these teams for a cornerstone quarterback? I'll tell you. Nothing. He'll chase Stephon Gilmore for a bag of footballs. He will. He'll trade the 15th overall pick for another second rounder, and he'll take a guy from Division III. Mark my words. It is Bill Belichick we're talking about. If Bill Belichick had no roster control and Nick Caserio was the general manager, which he should have been maybe a couple years ago, then yeah, maybe we'd have a chance to get Watson. Maybe we'd have a chance to get Wilson. Maybe a Carson Wentz. No shot. Wentz, I'll admit maybe you'd have a shot at it, but Watson and Wilson, forget about it. Just forget about it. Look, the Patriots offense needs a huge overhaul, and it's not funny. Offensive line, it's not bad, but it's not great either. So the offensive line to be beefed up just a little bit. Running backs, I think you're fine with. Just bring back James White, Damian Harris. Hopefully, Sony Michel comes back healthy and is a little bit faster, so that way not a lot of people are calling him Sloney Michel, which he is. That can't power his way through a hole. The hole will be like this open. It'll go to a hole that's like this much open. It's like, dude, where are you running to? Where are you running to exactly? So, anyway, what is going on? The Patriots need wide receivers. I don't think Edelman's coming back. Edelman's gone. All right, Edelman is absolutely 100% gone. I don't think he's coming back. If another team signs him, it's probably just going to be a team that's really just going to use him in like a special teams role, maybe a slot receiver role. Do I see him? Could I see Edelman going down to Tampa Bay to join up with Brady and Gronkowski again? Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that I think he'll be a great asset for them. No, because you already got Evans and Godwin. And you got Scotty Miller, who's basically going to be Brady's next Edelman. So why bother with that? Why bother with that? Could I see Edelman probably just flat out retiring? Sure. I just see that. I hope Edelman sticks around. I hope he does. Do I think he will? No, I think he's gone. Simply because Dice is broken. Knee injuries, the knee is still bothering him. His drop rate has gone up in the last couple seasons. So, there's that. But, let's recap this NFL season. Season that we're never going to forget. So, let's see. Brady on the Bucs, new team. Some teams that we thought were going to have big seasons had disappointing seasons. And, yeah. Postponements everywhere, teams in COVID trouble. A lot of people didn't think the NFL was going to get through the season. No one thought that the NFL was going to get to week number 17, let alone week 10. No one thought that the NFL was even going to get to the Super Bowl. No one. Well, here we are, just 3-4 days removed from Super Bowl 55, and the NFL did it. The NFL completed a regular season and a postseason amid a pandemic, no bubble, nothing. Now listen, do I blame the NFL for not wanting to go the bubble route? No, I really don't. Just tell me, where on earth were you going to house 32 teams with over 100 personnel on each team? Next to impossible. That's why the NFL did what they did. All right? Did the NFL have to adjust their things from time to time? Yeah, they did. But who wasn't adjusting? Honestly, who wasn't adjusting? So, look, Patriots need an offensive overhaul. Defensively, try to keep Gilmore if you can, but if you can't, get some value for him. First round picks, Bill. First round picks. That would be nice for Stephon Gilmore. Or trade Gilmore for a first and a reliable quarterback. I don't know. Maybe. Please. Obviously, it's going to take a lot more than Gilmore on a first round pick for us to a guy like, a Wilson Watson type of player, not Watson Wilson exactly. As I said earlier, forget those guys they aren't coming. They aren't coming. They're not. Get that out of your head, Patriot fans. Okay, they're not coming. Even Aaron Rodgers, okay? Rumors have it that the Patriots might want to move on from him, blah, blah, blah. A, don't believe those rumors. And B, as much as it'd be nice to have Aaron Rodgers here in New England, forget about it. Not happening. It's not. Rodgers coming off an MVP year, for God's sakes. Like, come on. The guy just can't get over the hurdle. All right? Guy can't get over the hurdle. And realistically, Rodgers is probably the only quarterback that will get, in which his defense will cause 3 turnovers, and him and the offense are completely inept and only get 6 points out of those turnovers. That's how inept it is. And again, in the Super Bowl, look, not making excuses for Chiefs. Mahomes was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. His offensive line absolutely blew. But the balls he threw, though, are catches that Hill and Kelsey should have had. They went right off their helmets. And they should have caught him. Right? Mahomes, he didn't particularly look bad, but he certainly didn't perform well, much like the rest of the team. Defensively, they surely didn't perform well. But, again, all besides the point. But, basically for the Patriots, and we're going to be talking about this all off season. Gotta get yourself a decent quarterback. Gotta get yourself a receiving core. Beef up that offensive line. Defense, make some tweaks to it. You gotta make some tweaks to it, or else we're going to have more of the same of what we saw last year, and probably the record will be much worse than 7-9. It'll be much worse than 7-9. All right. That will do it for this week's edition of TitleTown Throwdown. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Coming up next on all Sports Fanbase Network Rhode Island platforms, it is MMA Complete with Zach Drapo. So tune in for that. Zach, I've warmed everybody up for you. So I'm Nick LeBlanc. I will talk to you all next week. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and have a very good weekend.